day today. This part of the video I'll keep, but I might have to do voiceover for the rest of it if it's too loud. Alrighty, so we've got a little Barina. Okay, I think they're an Opel Corsair in other countries, and it's had a bit of a rattle on the suspension. So the link pins are a failure point, and the bushes and everything are split, and there's a bit of play in them. It looks like that's probably going to be the problem. So we're going to replace the link pins today. Very simple job. I'll run you through how to do it. Okay, first thing we need to do is jack up both sides of the car. This point here, you can see there's a little notch there. Alright, that's where your jack points are. So you've got to make sure you're under the jack point. Okay, jack the car up. Both sides need to be up and the wheel off the ground. Alright, so you can see both wheels off the ground. Should definitely support it on stands. Okay, do as I say, not as I do sort of episode. We've got our wheel nuts here, look like maybe a 19, I'll tell you in a sec. We're going to take the wheel nuts off, pull the wheel off, and then that's it. That's access to the link pin. There's only 2 bolts and a link pin, so I'll show you what's going on there. So it's a 19mm. If you don't have a rattle gun, and especially if your car's a manual, you may have to crack these before you lift it, okay, using your wheel brace. This can all be done with simple tools. In DIY fashion, I'm using our Makita rip-off Just Fit rattle gun, and yeah, I'll rip this off now. Okay, if you are going full backyard, put your wheel under the car. At least that way, if it does drop, it's only going to drop on the wheel, and hopefully it might save you. But better off to use a jack stand. Alright, so now we've got all this open. This here is our link pin, so it goes from the strut down to the sway bar. Okay, so we've got a nut there to take off and a nut here to take off. So if it spins, we can either use a Torx bit in the middle and a spanner, or most of them have a little square point on the shaft on the back here, and you can get a spanner on that. So I'll see if it's got it or not. But yeah, so a good rattle gun will rip that off pretty quick. The one on the bottom's a bit harder to get to with a gun anyway, so it might pay just to go back to the Torx bit. It looks like a T27, maybe a T30. And it's a 19mm. Okay, so there's our link pin off at the top. Alright, so it just bolts up into there. So the bottom one. Now, I don't know if you remember, but obviously see that looks like it's too long. That's because the bush has been clamped on the sway bar. Okay, these bushes in that position. Alright, so it had tension on it, which is good. So when we fit the new one, we're going to have to push it down back into the strut. All right, but that also gives us a bit more space here now to be able to get this one off. So when I took this one off, it didn't move. When I pulled the other one off, over here, that's when the tension came through, because this, so basically the purpose of this is to, this bar torques, okay? So when this wheel compresses, it goes up, and then that bar torques to try and pull the other one into check to try and keep the front end level. All right, and stop wheels from skipping and bouncing and that sort of thing. So these things move around quite a lot. All right, and then this one's actually not that bad. But yeah, the other bushes are split. You can see that bottom one. So that's where our, I don't know if you can hear that. That rattling, that's where that comes from. Okay, so simple part. You know, for under $100 to $150, you can do all this at home by yourself and get it done. So you know, that's very flogged. There's quite a lot of movement in it, whereas the top one is actually still okay. All right, so these are a plastic link pin. This is quite honestly the first car I've seen plastic link pins, but no doubt I'll see some more. All right, so what I'm going to do here, it's just a bit easier for me to use a vice grip, clamp the back of the shaft, all right, which is basically clamping onto here. Some have a flat section there that you can slip a spanner on. These ones do not. So I'm going to clamp this, and I'm going to use a ratchet spanner to undo it on the other side there. So ratchet spanner, open, and I'll get that on there and undo it. Alright, nuts off. Okay, so you can see where I've clamped it on there. Alright, so yes, by all means you can use the Torx. You could probably even dodge it with an Allen key. If you have vice grips, that works. Oh, I can't get them off. Righto, so here's our new link pin. Alright, so you can see it's the same orientation. Obviously this is what I was talking about, so this has got a full hex on it. Alright, so you can use a spanner on that. Others have just got a round shaft with a flattened section here, so it's still rounded here. But likewise, so you can get a spanner on it. And see, there's nothing in the end of these ones. Okay, so you need a spanner on the backside there to be able to tighten it up. And installation's just the reverse. Set that bad boy in there, put the nut on the back of it, and back up the top. What we need to do first is pull the one off the other side. So I'll bolt this into the bottom, and then I'll go and pull the other side off, and we'll work back from that side. Okay, so we've got it in there, we're ready to do it up. This new one is a True Pro brand, and it's got a 17mm nut and a 17mm on the back. So if you don't have two, 11/16 is very, very close to 17mm. So you can use a 11/16 and a 17 to tighten it back up. Okay, I've got plenty of other spanners, so I'll use the right spanners, but just to show you that that's easily done. Okay, I did forget to tell you to use a bit of Loctite. The purple, the 222, is fine. It's a low strength. Okay, it's just to stop any potential rattling off, which they're an interference type nut, so it shouldn't rattle off ever. But it's a little bit of extra insurance. So I'll just tighten this up, and then we can put the wheel on. So you can see here, this is one of the failed ones. The boot's split, the oil gets contaminated, and then it's a ball joint in there. So when the tension's off the ball, as soon as the grease starts to go, because the grease is what gives a lot of tension. Okay, so once that starts to go, then it's not going to last. All right. So this one's not too bad. The other side's actually worse. This one here, you can sort of see it. It actually flops around quite a lot. All right. You can hear how flogged out it is. So that, even shaking it, I can feel it. All right. That's going to give a rattle that transfers up through the suspension into the car, and it makes it sound even worse. All right, so simple thing. You know, it's taken me longer to set the camera up and muck around than it has to actually do the job. So, you know, do it yourself on your driveway for 100, 150 bucks. You can get cheaper stuff. You know, I didn't want to put nasty stuff in here. And that's it. I'll put the wheels back on. Alrighty, I'm just going to take it for a run around the block to bed everything in and make sure it's all good. Zip up, safety. Alright. So, over those couple of bumps, quiet as a church mouse. Before it was going digga 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 digga. I should have done it before video. But anyway. No, all good, job done. So it was more predominant pulling in and out of driveways, going over speed humps, that sort of thing. So there was just a bit of a clunk and a rattle in the front. Now the only thing you can hear is a bit of road noise. So job done.